Just got to stretch out, make sure, presentation wise. Okay, right. Okay, so welcome back to the Negotiation Club, where this is an opportunity to literally practice our negotiation skills using the negotiation cards. Now we have Fred, who is playing the role of the buyer, and we have Alex, who's playing the role of the seller. Fred, could you just look away for a second? And Alex, you have a... Do that again, hang on. All right. So Alex, you have a break-even point. So you are looking to negotiate a position above that number, okay? And a tactic for you is, Yep. Okay. Right, Fred, you can look back. So, Fred, you have a budget, and your budget is...
Okay.
So you got it below that, and your tactic is...
Yep, got him.
Okay. Right, so Alex, you are selling some juicing equipment to our buyer, Fred, who is buying some apple juicing equipment. You have 4.5 minutes to negotiate. At the end of the negotiation, we'll talk about the tactics and we'll do a review. 4 minutes, and your 4 minutes start now.
Hi, Fred. We've got the new apple juice making machine available. It is top of the range. Are you interested in purchasing an apple juice maker?
Top of the range, you say?
Yes, it's top of the range.
Not sure about that.
Well, maybe we could talk price, and you can see just how easy it is to get a top of the range juice maker.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, price really is important to me.
Yeah, so price is important to you. That's fine. Well, you can purchase one of these machines for approximately £7,000. How does that sound to you, Fred?
No.
No, is that too high?
It's too high.
Too high. Well, just for you, Fred, we could perhaps look at doing a special price. Maybe if you buy more than one, are you interested in purchasing multiple juice makers?
Go on then. What's the price?
So if you wanted to buy 10 juice makers, perhaps we could do it at £6,000 a unit. So £60,000 for 10 juice makers.
Okay, because price is the important thing for me. So you can do it for 6,000.
We can do it for 6,000. I know price is important to you.
So you could do me one for 6,000.
We wouldn't be able to do one for 6,000. So it's the 10 for 6,000. So £60,000 for 10. Sorry, 6,000 a unit.
Oh, because price is key for me. But you can do it for 6 though.
We can on the bulk orders. I could perhaps offer you a slight discount on one, and because you are a lovely guy and we'd look to do more business with you in the future, but it won't be as much of the discount as we are on the multiple purchase, I'm afraid.
But you can do 6.
We can do 6, but it would have to be for the 10.
Why?
Well, because it is, if we order more, we get our delivery cheaper, we get the parts cheaper. It allows us to bring our prices down.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose that's a silly question, really, wasn't it? But you can do 6. Can I get one for 6 now, and then the others later?
We could do a pay later option, but we wouldn't be able to do one for 6. So we could maybe do one for 6,500 now, and the rest, if you agreed to order at least 5 later on.
Okay, so we do 6,500 now, but I've got to order 5 because price is the important thing. And you said you can do 6.
We can do 6, but that is only for the 10. I know price is important to you, but we have to make money and we have to order them in, order the parts in.
I don't know if I can commit to all of that now. Price is important because I'm just a startup, you know, and we're just starting. 10's just a big number. 6 is a good number. 10's a big number. So what was the best price for one? Just one?
You could do 6,750.
6,751. Is there any other support you could give me just to help me with my business? Because I'm just starting off. And if I like
We could
sell more,
perhaps
then I'll
throw
buy more
in,
machines, won't I?
I know you're just starting up, you won't have like any sort of maintenance in place. Perhaps we could throw in like a year free maintenance, as long as you agree to buy future apple juice makers from us.
If I buy any, I'll buy them from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you give me your maintenance for 2 years.
We did say 1 year. Perhaps if we do 2 for 6,750, and we'll do maintenance for 2 years.
Say again, what was that?
So you buy 2 juice makers at 6,750 each, and we'll throw in the maintenance for 2 years.
6,750, 1 year. Done.
1. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Cool.
Well done. You made an agreement.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this was a slightly different negotiation because we were using different sets of cards, different values. Now, you've both used the other cards before. Before we go into the details of any thoughts about how the numbers, you know, larger numbers make a difference in negotiation?
I think people tend to stick to round numbers more when it comes to larger numbers. And there probably is something to be said for coming up with like something that goes down to the closest pound.
Fred?
Yeah, it feels as though there is more room to move. So I did the one expect, but again, it feels as though there's lots more flexibility within that. He said not moving at all, but of course we know what, we'll work out why that was in a minute.
Yeah, it was interesting negotiation. So here's what you had on your cards.
Right. It's a good deal. Yeah.
Now then, Fred, any thoughts as to what tactic Alex was practicing?
I forgot to concentrate. I was concentrating on my own, keeping on track. Going back over what he did, I don't know. I tell you what I did think, I don't know, is that he was actually listening to me and trying to relate it back to me. Again, that might be the sales trainer and me looking for this sort of stuff. But I'm not sure about the tactic, to be honest.
We're not far off it. What was it, Alex?
Just summarizing. It's quite hard to do in that short frame of time, but I did try and throw it in a few times.
Yeah, because I didn't give you much in the beginning. Wasn't much to summarize. When there's a bit more, you were summarizing well, yeah.
Mm. Alex, what about you? Any thoughts as to what Fred was practicing?
Is it saying no or something, or the broken record? One of those two.
Broken record. So we had the broken record as well. So I'm going to ask Fred, because we kind of already know what the summarizing one is, and we didn't really get a chance to do it, but summarizing can be really important, demonstrates your listening, demonstrates that you're all on the same page as well. And there's different ways of using summarizing on this one. We didn't get a chance to do it so much. But the broken record, we often hear the broken record as being a kind of tactic that can be used, you know, repeating the same position again and again, but practicing it, you know, compared to actually being told about it, maybe two different things. Fred, how did you get on with that as a tactic? And do you think actually it made any difference?
I think it did. I think because I was deliberately practicing, I did it better. I was going to keep going, price is important to me, price is important to me. But then he gave me this 6,000, so I shifted it until I just keep saying 6. I'm going to keep saying 6. I was kind of using anchor as well, but just 6. You said 6, you could do 6, 6, 6, 6. I kept going on about it. Boring, wasn't it?
Well, Alex, how did you find that?
I think it can be quite infuriating, especially in like if a real life situation. There's potentially someone's just going to turn around and say no. But it does work, I think, because it just encourages you to move more to get a deal. But I think it's quite high risk.
What I did was quite realistic. Got you to say the low price and then said, so you can do it for that price. You told me you can do it for 6. And you actually dealt with that pretty well. When I said, well, why? Why can't I still have it for 6 then? It's economies of scale was the answer, but that's what people do. You ask Phil.
It is. I mean, the dangerous question is asking why, because generally speaking, there's always a very good justification. Particularly good negotiators are already prepared for that. And I always say, if somebody asks me a question why, and I've thought it through, I'll probably end with, actually, my mistake, it should have been higher than that. Or my mistake, it should actually be lower than that, to make a point. So you've got to be mindful of that. I mean, there was a lot going on here throughout the entire negotiation. So just to give you a little bit of feedback. So we had a start, and immediately, Alex, you jumped in. It's the top of the range, and this is something that Fred picked up with straight away. So you then asked him, "Are you interested?" And Fred's response was really thinking about, well, how can I use this reference to top of the range to drive it down? Because already you're conditioning a higher price. We haven't had a higher price. We haven't had any price yet. So that was interesting as well. And this was at the point at which Fred was then going to start using his broken record as we go along, because price is important. And then, okay, price. Now, this is where, Alex, you put in your first pitch. So you said we're looking at about around 7,000. So again, I'm always wary about use of soft language. So it's about and around, and again, 7,000. Now, you had a 4,000, sort of 4,600 break-even point. You have absolutely no idea, because you've never practiced with these, what kind of budget Fred has. So in this particular case, that number you're throwing out, that 7,000, you really need to be using that as your fishing trip. What is the response you get from Fred? Now, Fred, I can't remember, who's that comedian? He was like, no. He's like, no, that's too high, that kind of like response. So you kept repeating, obviously, no. Now, we're almost expecting that, but was that a no that was a genuine no? Did it feel as if that was a no, that's just not going to happen? And that's the kind of thing we need to be testing ourselves and questioning ourselves, because actually it was acceptable. So the really important thing here is to go through the videos of yourselves when you're doing this and to think, okay, if it was outside of that, does my response mirror that type of response I have inside, or was I overdoing it? So that's quite a question for you, Fred, as well, is, you know, how did you, go on, you about to say something?
Yeah, no, it was always going to be no. I always will say no at the first thing when I'm playing buyer. It's what they do. Because then you say, okay, a bit cheaper then. Wow, all I've done is said no, and I've got a concession straight away. But because it was acceptable, that's why it's a bit theatrical.
And that is exactly my point. We often see that, and it's very, very subtle often.
So I could have gone no.
And it's difficult, because what we're saying to ourselves is that we want to push back, but because it's acceptable, we almost, for many of us, it's hardwired not to say no when it's a yes kind of a thing. So that's the subtlety in negotiation, is trying to identify it. So anyway, you had the no being pushed back. Now, of course, it did work, because Alex, you're immediately thinking, okay, we can do something about this. But you very cleverly then included volume. If you want to buy more, and you went straight to 10, you know, 10 of these juicing machines, you know, suddenly it was like, you know, 7,000 up to 60,000, which is fine, okay? And you go down to £6,000. Again, a very nice round number. Now, the difficulty here, of course, is that Fred is now picking on the fact that you've come in with another number, which is 6,000, which means that you can sell them at 6,000. And again, it is, because you've got a break-even point, which is significantly lower than that. And this is where, Fred, I like the fact that you were using your broken record. In fact, your broken record wasn't so much about the price, but then, as you say, you latched on to the 6,000. So you can do it for 6,000, you know. you can do for 6,000. Yeah, 6,000. Price is really important. So that's 6,000. I mean, and you're really trying to get him down to that. But Alex, you were kind of, you know, stood fast as well, and you didn't want to go down. But the other thing is, I noticed that actually the 6,000 then became an anchor, and it really started to feel as if you couldn't get anything lower than 6,000 either. You know, because Alex did really well at keeping it above, always above that. There was never a point at which he would accept the 6,000 for anything less than selling 10 machines. So I thought that was really well done from you, Alex, because, you know, Fred, you were repeating it and putting the pressure on, which, you know, again, was lovely. That kind of broken record piece as well. We then had some more problem solving. If you do this, we then had looking at maintenance, which is another opportunity. And those are the kind of things that if you're buying equipment or capital equipment, you want to be thinking about the long-term costs of it. It's not always, if you buy a printer nowadays, you can buy a printer for 30 quid, but the ink cartridges will cost you 60. Yeah, so, you know, it's about the long-term total cost of acquisition. So maintenance is a good one to throw in there. So again, you can think about these things as well. Just to wrap up on that, we didn't really have a great chance to do the summarizing, but again, it's definitely a tactic that needs to be used and used effectively. And the broken record, repeating. I think the only challenge is that if we repeat something like a position of the other party, then we need to be careful we don't lock ourselves into expectations of that as well. So we never really delved, Fred, into beyond the 6,000, which as we know now from the numbers was there. Does that make sense? Yeah. Alex, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I think it's always just hard, like, not knowing what the range has been, because I thought 7,000 would be like far too high. It turns out it was like well within Fred's budget, so it's always difficult throwing out like that first number as to like where it falls. Yeah,
and this is exactly the problem every negotiator has, particularly if you're not familiar with the marketplace. The more you become familiar with the marketplace, the more you start to understand that zone of agreement, the market zone of agreement. And then what you can do is you can start to pitch your numbers appropriately. If you're in the blind, and this is what many people are, they don't really know. So they've got to try something. So your approach then is somewhat differently. It's still really acutely looking at that response. Is it acceptable? Is it not acceptable? Even beyond the theatricals, can we look beyond the theatricals? Does that tell us that over theatrical approach, does that actually tell us that it sits inside? Because there's no need for the theatricals if it doesn't fit inside. There's often a different response as well. Fred, any final thoughts from you?
No, I mean, it's the sales trainer in me. I would always encourage asking more questions at the beginning to find out what I'm actually looking for. I mean, look, the negotiation bit is what we're really here for, but you just make your life easier, right? So understand you're in the market for, what are you looking for? What are you going to use it for? What's your business? Oh, I'm a cider manufacturer. Oh, cider, interesting. Oh yeah, well, tell me about Fred's cider. I'll talk about myself. Blah, 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 blah. Fred's actually not going to go for premium. He's a new startup. He's still going to get that same price, but I'm going to position it differently.
Yeah.
Plus, I warm to you because you're interesting. I think I said it last time, didn't I? You're interesting because you're interested in me, and I get to talk about myself, which sounds stupid, but and you're getting that bits of info, which then helps you because you haven't got the actual market numbers, but just say, well, actually, it sounds like you need a reconditioned, a really sort of quality but reconditioned thing. Guess what? 7,000 quid. But it just helps you earlier on, I think.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you both for practicing with us. For those of you who are obviously watching, go back and have a look at the video, try to understand and articulate and see what else is being done, and come back and watch some more practice in the future. And with that in mind, see you all again. Keep practicing. Oh. Yeah, you can say.